Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today on another video. Today I'm going to be summing up the Apple keynote event that just went down. I watched the entire thing and there was a lot of content, a lot of information in it. I'm going to try to compress it into a small little video so you guys are caught up on what went down at the event. So the event started off with Tim Cook introducing the new Apple Park, the campus that they've been building for a couple of years now. It started off as a tribute as well to Steve Jobs and his inspiration and how Apple itself is a huge achievement for him, and that was his legacy. It was a great tribute, and it was very touching. Then we moved on to the retail specifics. Apple is going to be doing a lot more with their retail. They're rebranding their stores as town squares. They're going to be focusing on building more of a community center as their stores. They want more people to come in, use it as a town square, and they're okay with that, and they want to encourage a lot more of people just walking through the store, using it as a community center, developers using it for developing and all that kind of stuff. So it's a great initiative by Apple. I'm sure it's going to drive a lot more people to come through the Apple Store. And then we eventually moved on to the products, and the first product that we got to was the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch, according to Apple, is the #1 selling watch in the world, beating out Rolex. Now, I'm not sure whether they mean that in a sales standpoint or volume standpoint or profitability standpoint, but they said it was #1, beating out Rolex from last year. Now, to the main part, the Apple Watch Series 3. The Apple Watch Series 3 is similar to the Series 2 in design. The key difference with the Apple Watch Series 3 is that it has cellular capabilities. Now, I was under the assumption initially that all the Apple Watches would have cellular capability, but it turns out Apple has created two models, the Series 3 without cellular and the Series 3 with cellular at different price points. The cellular is meant for people who leave their phone behind, just have their watch, who are maybe doing rigorous activity or something and they can't keep the phone with them. In my opinion, the main point behind the cellular capabilities is to help keep the Apple Watch experience a little bit more separated from the iOS experience, because right now Apple Watch is very much dependent on your iPhone. If your iPhone isn't with you, you're not going to get any alerts, any updates, any sort of notifications to your Apple Watch, and the functionality becomes limited pretty much to just being a watch. Whereas with the LTE and cellular capabilities, you get phone calls, you get text messages. Any update that you would have gotten with the phone with you is what you're going to get now. One of the key selling features of the LTE capabilities as well is going to be that you can stream Apple Music directly from your watch, so you don't need your phone anymore. So if you have wireless headphones such as the Beats X or the AirPods, you can just use your watch to stream music, and that's incredible. So you don't need your phone anymore either. So slowly we can see the Apple Watch becoming its own phone. Now, how this LTE capability works according to Apple will be that there's an electronic SIM card inside the device, and in order for the device to work properly, they have converted the screen into a makeshift antenna. So your screen will act like your antenna, which is very cool, and they've managed to fit all of this new hardware without having an impact on the shape or the size of the Apple Watch. The only difference is that the sensor that is at the bottom of the Apple Watch will be 0.25 millimeters thicker, which is basically nothing. Again, there's new there's new bands, there's new stuff. The Apple Watch Edition gets a new color, which is gray. It looks a lot like space gray. One more thing that I did notice was that the rose gold finish is no longer available. So I believe it's going to be dying off with the Series 2 watch. So the Series 3 Apple Watch is going to start at $329 for the non-cellular model. The cellular model is going to be selling for $399 for the 38 millimeter, obviously. And then the price keeps going up as you go into your bands and your case and everything. The interesting thing here is that Apple didn't remove the Series 1 from the lineup, they removed the Series 2. So now you have the Series 1 as your base Apple Watch, and then you have Series 3 as the upgrade to it. I thought logically Series 2 should have been replaced, Series 2 should have been there, and Series 1 should have been eliminated. I don't know what the thought process behind that is. Maybe it's just cheaper to make the Series 1, and Series 2 can't be made at that cheaper price point. Whatever it is, so we have two Apple Watch options like last year. After the Apple Watch, we had the next announcement, which was the Apple TV. The Apple TV now gets 4K HDR capabilities, and it was just a little bit of updates with the tvOS. You get a dedicated live sports area. You get some more 4K digital content. All the standard movies now that you have in HD will be automatically updated to 4K videos, and 4K videos will be the same price as the HD videos are right now. So that was a very small update with the Apple TV. It was really expected, so now it's just going to be a little bit more easier for you people with 4K TVs to have a better experience with the Apple TV. Then we got to the main juicy part, which was the iPhone. So obviously they started off with the iPhone 8 and iPhone 8 Plus. The design was very similar to the 7 and 7 Plus. The only key difference here is that you have a glass back instead of a metal back. Now this was for wireless charging, which was unveiled at the later part of the event. There's only going to be 3 colors here, so we only have space gray, gold, and silver. So it's going back to the pre-iPhone 6S days where you only had 3 color options. So the new iPhones are microscopically sealed off to prevent dust and water from entering into them. I'm not sure what rating this translates into in terms of IP. Apple didn't mention that, and I'm guessing that it's probably still the same rating as the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, and they just didn't bother to go into upgrading that because, you know, if it works, why change it? There's going to be louder dual speakers in both the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, which is excellent. The speakers are already really good, but an upgrade is always welcome. So the new processor is called the A11 Bionic. This controls a lot more of the image functions. The post-image processing is going to be so much more powerful in this device, and I'm thinking this is a direct response to the Pixel, because despite the Pixel's camera being, it's decent quality, the post-image processing really pushed the Pixel's image quality far ahead of the iPhone. And I think that Apple is coming back here strong and trying to say that we have the same capabilities as well. The next big thing was, again, because due to this amazing new processor, portrait mode, something that's loved in the iPhone 8, 7 Plus, is going to be upgraded for the 8 Plus, and you're going to have a lot more options here. And the key one being that low light is going to be way better. They're going to focus on trying to make it a lot more, it's going to try to reduce noise, just overall make the quality a lot better. Video, 4K 60 FPS and 1080p 240 FPS for slow-mo has been confirmed. A lot of this information has already been leaked, and I'm honestly not surprised about it at all. It was a very logical jump and a very logical upgrade that needed to be made. Wireless charging. So this was towards the end of the 8 and 8 Plus announcement. Wireless charging is confirmed. That's why they have the glass back. It's going to be Qi certified, so it's going to be the same wireless standard as everything else. Thank goodness Apple didn't go out and create their own thing to try to confuse people. They're just going to stick to Qi for now, and any Qi certified base is going to work with your iPhone. So if your car or if you have existing wireless bases around your house, you're good to go. You don't need to buy new ones for the iPhone 8. It's going to work out the box. Surprisingly, we only have 2 storage options this year, 64 and 256. The popular opinion was, when the leaks were floating around, is that we were going to have 64, 128, and 256 as options for the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. But looks like we just have 64 and 256. The surprising part about this is, though, the price. The price was announced towards the end, and we only got the base price of $699 and $799 for the 8 and 8 Plus. But when I was shocked when I actually went online. I was expecting a $100 jump for storage variant, but they're actually charging you $150. So your 256 GB iPhone is going to cost $849, the same price it cost last year, but it's a big jump coming from the base model. A 7 Plus is going to cost $949 for the 256 GB variant. Again, it was around the same price that it was last year, but it's just a big jump. So I'm kind of surprised Apple didn't include a mid-tier there and just capitalize on more people. I have no idea what the reasoning behind that was. So the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are going to be available this week for pre-order. So September 15th, you're going to be able to pre-order these babies. September 22, will start rolling out. You'll start getting them in your hands. So most likely, I'm going to guess that the 8 and 8 Plus are not going to have as much of a sales demand as the iPhone X, which was announced next. The iPhone X, that was the one everyone was waiting for. And everyone was excited, including me. This is the phone I want to get. I'm not going to bother with the 8 and 8 Plus. the X, the iPhone. So they named this the iPhone X or iPhone 10. It's supposed to be the 10th year anniversary edition kind of blowout phone. So the design is very similar. The key difference is that the camera orientation, it's no longer like this, it's vertical. So that's the really only big difference on the back. The front is where the huge difference is, that new beautiful display which goes corner to corner. It's going to be an OLED, so that's really good. The one thing I've wanted in iPhones for so many years is an OLED display. I have Android phones with OLED displays and OLED AMOLED displays, and I love them. They look so much better than the normal LCD displays. So the iPhone 10 is going to be 5.8 inches, and it's going to sport a 458 DPI resolution, which is amazing. They're going to call it the Super Retina display. Sometimes the marketing team just really screws up, in my opinion, with Apple, and this is just a great example. The surprising thing here is there's only two colors. There's no gold. It's just silver or white. I think it's called white and black, space gray. So they've really simplified the lineup this year. Even though they've included a third phone, there's not too many options to go back and forth. The next biggest feature after that amazing display on the iPhone X is Face ID. Face ID has been developed a lot, and they're using an array of sensors and technologies to make sure that Face ID works very accurately. It doesn't work like other face scanners. You cannot use a photo, you cannot use a mask of something to try to unlock the phone. You need your actual face. And they've worked extensively to make sure that the security is there. They claim that Touch ID, there was a 1 in 50,000 chance of someone being able to unlock your phone with their fingerprint. With Face ID, it's gonna be 1 in a million. Now, they're claiming it's a better technology, but in my opinion, Touch ID is so much better. I love Touch ID, and I really wish that they wanted to include this into their phone, but what happened was the feasibility of having a fingerprint scanner embedded in the display wasn't reality. So they didn't go the Samsung way and include it on the back of the phone. They just ditched it and went with Face ID full force. I highly doubt we're going to be seeing another fingerprint scanner in an iPhone. Maybe we'll get lucky and maybe we'll see it, but for now, I'm guessing that they're just going to take Face ID and run with it. So along with these amazing sensors and stuff, the front camera also gets portrait mode on the iPhone X. The portrait mode is highly improved on this as well as the iPhone 8 Plus, but this phone is going to have a front selfie. Like the selfie, you can have a portrait selfie as well. So those are really going to change these Instagram models' life. You don't need someone doing your photos on that, so look out for that. So we have the Animojis. Animojis are basically like, the Snapchat filters you see, but on an emoji. So this emoji is just going to convert and, move and adapt to your face. So if you shake your face like this, the Animoji will shake like, it's just cool. One of the key features on the rear camera of the iPhone X is the dual OIS. So both sensors are going to get optical image stabilization, which is really good. The portrait mode, the portrait mode works really poorly in low light on the 7 Plus right now. It really bothers me because if you're not outside and it's not a sunny day, you're not going to get a good shot on portrait mode. But if it's sunny, the shots are excellent. So I always felt bad that Apple didn't include an OIS sensor onto the second camera as well. I'm happy they did with this one. And again, with this A11 Bionic chip, they're going to do a lot more post-image processing, and they're going to improve on low-light photography especially. Now, battery life is claimed to be 2 hours better than the iPhone 7, which concerns me because I use an iPhone 7 Plus mainly for the battery. The battery on the 7 Plus is a lot better than the iPhone 7, and now we're going to get a new phone which I don't think is even going to match the iPhone 7 Plus's battery, which in my usage, I run out of charge by very close to the end of the day on the 7 Plus. It's not too bad, but if I was out traveling or something, easily it's 2 to 3 times a day, even on my usage. And I'm guessing the iPhone X is going to be terrible on battery. Let's see. I can't tell you until I get my hands on it, but my guess is the battery life is going to be abysmal. Then we moved into some more wireless charging news. Apple is introducing their new wireless charging pad. So this one pad is going to be able to charge your iPhone, your Apple Watch, and your AirPods if you have the new AirPods with a wireless charging case. So this is interesting because they want a wireless technology future, and they're moving towards, this wireless pad. While it looks really cool, I've never been that big of a fan of wireless charging because it's a lot slower. So I'm not sure what the turnaround time on charging is going to be on this wireless pad, especially since it can do multiple devices at once. And I'm not even sure what the limitation is on these. Can you like stack on, can you like pack in 10 AirPods on one base and have them charge? Or I'm not sure how it's going to work. I hope it works out well, but I don't have big hopes because I've never been a fan of wireless charging because the main reason is it's slow. I just rather have it plugged in for a couple of minutes, be charged well enough, and get going. So moving on to the variants. So there's going to be two storage variants, 64 GB and 256 GB, similar to the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. I was surprised by this as well because I was expecting a 512 GB option as the leak suggested, and it made sense because this is supposed to be a really high-end device that you're supposed to be using for photos and videos, and with a 4K 60 frames per second camera capability, I'm not sure how well the 256 GB is going to fare. So the color is limited as well. We only have silver and space gray, 2 color options, 2 storage options, and the price, the big thing. So if you guys were following the leaks, you're not going to be surprised. So the price is $1,000, $999. And that was something that I was expecting, but I'm still kind of surprised about this really high price point. I get that you have a lot of features, but it's going out of hand. And that's for the 64 gig model. The 256 gig model is $1,149, so $1,150 for a 256 GB iPhone 10. That's a good, it's a good chunk of money. And I want to see what the contract prices are for this phone as well, but I'm sure that, there's going to be a big jump everywhere. Regardless, Apple is definitely going to sell a lot of these babies. In fact, I'm almost certain it's going to be sold out all the way till January because the iPhone X is only coming out on November 3rd. And that as well, I believe, is only going to be in the United States in the first list of countries that Apple always has for the iPhone. Now, which means that, the secondary markets such as India and some other South Asian markets are only going to get it sometime in December. And even that's going to be very limited availability. So let's see how this fares. I'm going to guess that a realistic chance of having an iPhone X before Christmas is very low. You're going to have to wait till January. So that was the Apple event summed up in as short of a video as I could do it. I thought I could make it into a very short video, but as I kept talking, it's just a lot of information I want to share with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, subscribe to the channel, a lot more coming. Follow me on social media if you're interested in following what I do all day. I do a lot of cool stuff, and I'm always updating my social media to show you guys what I'm doing. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. See you in the next one.